In this chapter, we're starting to look into this notion of measurable functions. Before we go into the detail, I would like to take a step back and think about why we need this notion, okay? So if we recall the idea of Lebesgue in terms of integration, so Lebesgue is trying to divide a function horizontally, and the area is approximated by these yi times some kind of measure on a set where the f of x is between these values. And the first chapter basically clarifies what do I mean by the length or the weight of the sets is basically the measure, let's call it maybe mu of the set. Okay, so I want the mu of these kind of sets where f of x is between certain values, let's say yi minus 1 and yi, okay? So that's the idea of Lebesgue, and the one thing you see is that the measure is only defined on its sigma algebra. It may not be defined on the entire subsets. So basically, if we want to make sense of Lebesgue's idea, I would require these sets to be measurable at least. Okay, these needs to be measurable. Okay, so this basically puts some extra restriction on the function. The function needs to have the pre-image of this function on these kind of sets needs to be a measurable set. Okay, so this basically motivates the following definition, what we call the measurable functions. So here we go. So here is the definition of a measurable function. So you have some function that maps between two measurable space. This function is called measurable if it satisfies the following. So if I take any set B, which is in the sigma algebra on this measurable space on Y, then the pre-image of this B needs to be inside the sigma algebra in X. Okay, need to inside the sigma algebra A in X. Okay, this is what we call a function being measurable. It's basically saying the inverse image of measurable sets is again measurable. And just want to know that in particular, if this y is, if the range of this f is the real line, or basically you're thinking about real valued function, or oftentimes we think about the complex value functions, the algebra, the sigma algebra B is usually taken to be the Borel sigma algebra. So this is the Borel sigma algebra on y. Why is we only care about the Borel sigma algebra is the following remark. So let me just give it as a fact. So in fact, there exists some continuous function f from the real line to real line, where the f inverse of some Lebesgue measurable set is not Lebesgue measurable. Okay, not Lebesgue measurable. Okay, so this is especially very bad because you really want to integrate continuous functions. So continuous functions are Riemann integrable. You really have a good notion of what their integration should be. So you don't want these continuous functions to be not measurable, okay? So that's why usually you don't take Lebesgue measurable sets on the right-hand side, okay? You only care about the inverse image or pre-image of a Borel sigma algebra. Okay. All right, so in fact, to verify something is measurable, we don't need to verify every single set. It will be really difficult. In fact, we have a following lemma that basically tells you you can only measure the pre-image of a generating set. Okay, so here is a very useful lemma. Suppose we have two measurable spaces again, and let's consider a function. Suppose I have a collection of sets, let's call it E, where the E will generate the sigma algebra B. Then, in fact, the function is measurable in the sense that it will take the inverse, it will take B back into A, if and only if the pre-image of this E is inside A. Okay, so this is what the lemma is showing. Basically, we just need to verify the pre-image on a generating set. Okay. The proof of this lemma is actually pretty simple. So one direction is fairly trivial. So if you have a measurable function, then the inverse of everything in B is also in A. So because this set E is a subset of B, so you'll say F inverse of B is also in A. So that's trivial. So we just basically need to show the converse. Suppose the pre-image of elements in E is in A, then I want to show that F is in fact measurable. So how about let's consider every subset of Y, so F is in Y, such that the pre-image of this F is actually inside A, okay? So the goal of F being measurable is essentially saying the sigma algebra B should be a subset of the C. So every set in B has to be inside C, then F is measurable, okay? So that's our goal. So how do we show that B is inside C? Well, it actually suffices to show that C is a sigma algebra. Okay, so I want to claim the following. I want to claim that C itself is a sigma algebra. Okay, so how do we prove that? Well, I'll just verify three things. So first of all, the empty set is in fact inside C because the F inverse of the empty set, well, nothing in there. So its pre-image is empty, which is in A, so empty set is in there. And second, suppose you have F, some set inside C, then you want to verify whether F complement is also inside C, so you consider F inverse of its complement. So let's say F complement. Okay, so you can easily convince yourself the F inverse complement is just F inverse of F, the whole thing complement. Okay, why is that? Well, it's because F inverse of F complement contains all the X where the image F of X is not inside F. Okay, so it's the complement of those that has the image actually inside F. Okay, so you can verify this equality. And because F is inside C, so you know its complement, the F inverse of F is inside A, so this complement is inside A. So this tells you the F complement is inside A as well, inside C as well. Okay. And lastly, you want to verify the union property. So let's take Fn, a sequence inside the C, and we consider the union, the pre-image of this union and greater than or equal to 1. Well, the pre-image of this union, again, you can convince yourself fairly easily, is the union of their pre-image, okay? So if you have some x on the left-hand side, that's basically saying the image of f is inside this union. It just means f is being mapped into one of these fn, so it's in the pre-image of one of the fn. Okay, and the other direction is also fairly simple. So again, because each of these f inverse of fn is inside A, okay, because fn is inside C, so A is a sigma algebra, so their union is inside A. This will tell us that this union n greater than or equals 1 of the Fn, again, is inside C. Okay, so from there we show that this set C is itself a sigma algebra. And why it has to contain B? Well, now we see by our assumption. Okay, let's go back to our assumption. The assumption is that F inverse of everything from this generating family is inside A. So in particular, this set E, this curly E, is a subset of C. Okay, so by the assumption, we have that the set E is a subset of C. Okay, and the sigma of E, which is the smallest sigma algebra containing E, well, is equals to B, again, by the assumption. So again, because the generating sigma algebra is the smallest, and you have another sigma algebra contains E, so this will imply B is the smaller one, so B has to include in this slightly larger sigma algebra C. So in other words, by the definition of C, for every B inside the sigma algebra B, we have that B is also inside the sigma algebra C. which in other words is just saying f inverse of b is inside A, okay? So that proves that f is measurable by our definition. All right, so this is a very useful lemma. Again, we only need to verify a generating set. And because the function we're going to integrate in this course usually is from some set x to real or complex, okay, mostly real. And if we consider the real line is equipped with the Brown sigma algebra on the real line, okay, so we immediately have the following corollary. Because we know the Brown sigma algebra is generated by open sets, okay, so, and we can actually, we don't need to use all the open sets, we can just use the open intervals, for example, okay? So the set F is measurable is basically equivalent of saying the pre-image of every open interval is inside the sigma algebra A. So here X is equipped with some sigma algebra A, okay? And again, you don't need to verify all the open intervals. In fact, you only need those of the form A to positive infinity, okay? So they're also equivalent. And you can do the other way as well. You can do the negative infinity to A, okay? So because all of these really, they all generate the same Brown sigma algebra. And you can do the closed interval as well. So on your assignment, I ask you to show that the Brown sigma algebra of Rn is generated by those closed box. You only have one dimension here, so the closed box, or you can say that's just A, B, okay, that's inside A. And again, these boxes, you can just use half closed and the other half being infinity, okay? So f inverse of negative infinity to some, say, b here, okay? So all these are actually, they're all equivalent, okay? So they are all equivalent. So to verify a real valued function, whether this function is measurable, you only need to verify one of them, okay? You can just take your favorite one, either A to positive infinity or negative infinity to A, or open or closed, anyone you like, but you only need to verify those, okay? So that will enough to you to check that is a measurable function.